Right, so we're going to go over gun takeaway, gun defense. Now, there's a couple of things that are really important to understand when it comes to guns. Obviously, for training purposes, don't use real guns. Second of all, to understand how a gun works. This is a semi-automatic. The reason why it's important to understand how it works is because when you do a gun takeaway, there's a good chance you're going to jam the gun. You've got the trigger, obviously, the muzzle, which is the line of fire. Really important to understand because once you're out of the line of fire, you never want to step back into the line of fire. The hammer, that creates the little explosion that makes the bullet fly out. And in a semi-automatic, when that happens, this part slides back and feeds a new bullet from the magazine into the chamber. So, the reason why that is so important, because when I do that gun takeaway and I grab the barrel, that stops that sliding action from happening, and it's a good chance that the bullet will be jammed. And that's important to remember once I've done the gun takeaway. There's an acronym that's really, really important when it comes to gun takeaways. It's RCAT, and it stands for Redirect, Control, Attack, Takeaway. Redirect, Control, Attack, Takeaway. The redirection and the control will never change place. It's always in that order. Once you get out of the line of fire, you never get back into the line of fire again. Control, same thing. You need control of the weapon. The attack and the takeaway sometimes changes places. There's always exceptions to the rule. So, I'm going to use Christina. We're going to have her point the gun on me. Now, you see what Christina's doing? This is actually how you train on a weapon. To keep your finger close to the trigger. However, when we train for safety and training, we're going to keep the finger almost like a child, how they would hold a gun. And it's just to make sure that a partner doesn't break the finger, which is a nice thing to do when we are training together. So, from here, the first thing I need to do is to get out of the line of fire. I'm going to do that by bringing my hand up and turning it almost like an L. So imagine you just got your manicure done and you're checking your nails. That's what I'm doing. It's a very short motion, and just by doing that, I'm out of the line of fire. This motion is straight up and then rotate over. And a slight rotation in my shoulders. I don't need this big matrix things when I'm doing the shoulder rotation. It's just to get me out of the line of fire as quickly as possible. Very common mistake is that people want to come out really wide. The problem with that is the human eye catches silhouettes first. You tell me, Christina, when you can see my arm.
No.
Now I do the same thing. No. So it comes straight up and then I rotate like an L. Once I've done that, I'm going to grab the gun and punch my knuckles forward. The reason why I do that, watch, from here, redirection. But once I punch my knuckles forward, that line of fire is now turned 90 degrees. Which is good. I want this arm straight, almost like a punch. My knuckles should be facing forward. Now from here, my other hand is going to slide along my arm that grabbed the gun and grab the back where the hammer is of the gun. The reason why is because Christina's natural reaction and anyone's natural reaction, even from a young age, you try to grab something from a child, what do? They pull back, right? Mine. So when she pulls back here, if you pull it back, I want two hands on that weapon. The reason why is because if I'm only holding it with one hand and she pulls back, it's a good chance it will slide out of my hand. So once I've done this, this hand comes in. Now when she pulls, even if she's bigger and stronger than me, I'm coming with her. And that line of fire stays away from me. Now it's important that I change the mindset of the situation, where she focuses on the gun by kicking to the groin. So, from here, out of the line of fire, control, here, attack, and then I'm going to do the takeaway. The takeaway is, imagine the gun lying on a table. I'm going to take that gun and move it 45 degrees. So I'm punching the muzzle towards Christina, and I pull with this hand backwards. Push-pull. Once I've done that, I rotate the gun slightly, and now you understand why it's so important that you don't keep the finger on the trigger. If you do that right now, I'm not going to do it hard. When I go here and I do this and this, you see what's going to happen to the finger, right? So that's why we keep the finger out. I move the gun to my hip before I move away from her. The reason why is because if I do this, we got all the way here, and I don't have the gun by my hip. Now when I step back, we're getting to that tug of war, and now I'm getting way too close to that line of fire. So I want to do this here, bring the gun to my hip. Now I'm going to step out. I'm gonna tap and re-rack the weapon. Because again, remember that slide didn't go off. The slide didn't move when the gun went off. So when we're in this motion and I've done this, nothing has stopped Christina from pulling the trigger, right? She can pull the trigger once at least, but then the gun is most likely, I always say most likely because you never know, but most likely going to be jammed. So when I take this gun away and I move out, I tap the magazine and I re-rack the gun to get a new fresh bullet into the chamber so I can use it if that's what I feel that I need to do. I can also use a gun as an impact weapon. Not like they do in the movies. In the movies they do this. James Bond, right? The problem with this is I'm back in the line of fire. I went through all of that for nothing. I shot myself. So if I use a gun as an impact weapon, I'm either gonna pistol whip with it or I'm gonna punch forward with it, with the muzzle. That's how you use a gun as an impact weapon. So again, the 4 steps. 1, redirect. 2, control. 3, attack. 4, take away. Again, from here, if this isn't my gun and I know nothing about this gun, at least I can use it as an impact weapon or I can take it with me when I get out of the situation. And that is a gun takeaway from the front.